HAUS Talk Tuesdays, where homeownership meets luxury, legacy, and lifestyle. I'm your host, Daphne Davis, your trusted real estate expert, entrepreneur, and wealth builder. This isn't just a podcast, it's a movement. Whether you're buying your first home, investing in your future, or elevating your lifestyle, we're here to give you the insights, inspiration, and strategies to build a life of wealth and sophistication. So grab your favorite drink, settle into your dream mindset, and let's talk house. Because home isn't where you live, it's where you build your legacy. Welcome to the conversation. Good Tuesday morning. Hello, Bella Beauties, and welcome back to HAUS Talk Tuesdays, where we elevate conversations about luxury, legacy, and lifestyle. Yes, your girl has been missing in action for a little bit, but I'm back. I was emotionally under the weather, but life happens. It has its highs, its lows, its ups, and its downs. The good, the bad, and the ugly. But guys, we have to live with it because life dishes us shish. So, like they say, whatever goes on in the house, it stays in the house. So let's pivot back to today's episode. Today we're going to jump into the housing market trends. So I am a licensed broker in the state of Texas, but overall today I'm going to discuss what's going on in America, what's going on in the United States, the whole market trend. So there are some states that are doing a lot better than others. There are some states that have recovered, and there are still some states that are in recovery. In my particular region, Texas, the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, we are in recovery. But there are other areas that are in our eastern sector of the United States have not yet recovered. But we're going to jump into those trends. But before we get started, grab your coffee, grab your tea, or whatever it is that you drink, and let's talk house. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my notes today so we can stay on track, so we can stay on point. So let's talk about the housing market and the trends and the predictions for 2025. We're already halfway through 2025. So what's been going on? So the market has a continued balance of affordability and inventory. So you may notice that, hey, there are a lot of houses on the market. I get an opportunity to pick and choose. Guess what? What market are we in? We are in a buyer's market. We're in a seller's market when the market has a low inventory. There are bidding wars. But right now, this is the time that maybe you can sit on the fence and you can decide. This is an opportunity for you to be able to negotiate with the seller or the builder. A great trend that I see are lots of new constructions, lots of new home builds. Now with that, you may say, okay, all of these neighborhoods and these areas have new construction, and you're looking at these prices like, wait a minute, who can afford that? So we're no longer in the days of starter home or the median home being 150 to our median market today is we're no longer in the range of 150,000 to 250,000. Our homes today are starting at 310 with a median average of about 404. So if you're looking for a starter home that is going to be comfortable for you and your family, a 3 to 4 bedroom with 2 to 3 bathrooms, you're going to be looking at that median home of 400 to 450. Now the square footage may not be what it used to be. The square footages today, they have cut it down. So you're looking at 1,800 maybe to 2,500 square feet for that $400 to $450,000 home. So you just have to, pick your poison and find out what works best for you. What are your deal breakers? Are you looking for space? Are you looking for amenities? Are you looking for comfortability? Are you looking, for growth? So just know, are you looking for that big backyard? Are you looking for, the tile or the ceramic floors and the marble and all of the amenities that go with a home? Like, I love a big pantry, and I love a large walk-in closet, and I love like a garden tub or a sunken tub. I like wear a nice vanity area, and mainly, guys, the linen closets. Wow, you have these big, beautiful bathrooms, but where do I get to put my towels? Where do I place my towels? So going forward, when I am looking for a home, I am looking for a place to stay, I create a checklist and I decide those amenities that are deal breakers, my do's and my don'ts, my needs and my wants. So that's what you want to do. And of course, when it comes to your furniture, are you looking for living and dining? Are you looking for the family room? Are you looking for the great room? Are you looking for a large master bedroom? Know what you want before going in, because you can walk into all of these beautiful homes and they will distract you. They will sidetrack you from the goal, from your checklist. So going in, when you're talking to your real estate agent or if you're talking to your realtor, know your needs and your wants, because that is what your agent is going to do for you. They are going to assess your needs. So let's go ahead and pivot back to our market trend prediction. So here is a breakdown of the key trends and prediction. So we're talking about mortgage rates. I remember once upon a time not long ago when rates, you could get a rate at 2.8%, like literally. But now you're talking about rates 6%, 6.2, maybe even up to 7%. And those rates, it's going to be a very, very long time, guys, before those rates go back down, probably even to 4 to 5%. But in the history of the mortgage world, we'll probably never see rates below 3% again, So right now, like I said, we're looking at rates 6 to 6.7% on average. Rates are expected to fluctuate, that's true, but buyers also know that waiting for rates to drop further can delay purchasing, because the more you sit around and wait on rates to drop, the higher the housing market is going to get. Housing prices are appreciating. They're not going down, they're not decreasing at all. Now, you may be able to negotiate some seller concessions. You may be able to negotiate the price according to your credit, according to your credit score, according to your debt to income ratio, your DTI, according to your down payment. But the prices right now, builders, sellers, they're proud of their prices. So don't sit around and wait on the rates to drop, because the more and more we wait, the more we go shoulda, coulda, woulda. Also, guys, the housing inventory, as I stated earlier, the housing inventory, it is increasing. The more and more I drive around neighborhoods, I just see new builds everywhere. I don't see too many for sale signs in the yard, guys. When I go through a neighborhood, I may see 1, 2, maybe 3 for sale signs, but I can go through a whole neighborhood and maybe see 1 or 2 for sale signs by, owner properties. And I don't see any more for sale by owners. That's a headache. It really is. FSBOs are a headache. Can you really sell your own property? I mean, do you know the legalities of it? That's why we're licensed. That's why we do what we do. Let the experts do their job, and you kind of stay in your lane. But if you're savvy enough, you can sell. If you're happy with looky-loos, people in and out of your property, checking it out for sale by owners, go right ahead. But a lot of times, oftentimes, they are going to waste your time. Do you have a pre-qualification letter from them? Do you have a pre-approval letter? Do you know if they have the funds for closing, the funds for down payment? And if you know the individuals personally, that's different. But oftentimes, you don't know the buyer. So you really need to be savvy and know what you're doing in order to sell your own property. Let's go down to regional variations. The housing market trends, they are going to vary significantly based on the region. Again, I am in the Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex, so if you're moving into the state of Texas and you're looking for the surrounding areas, I'm Daphne Davis, broker of Bella HAUS Realty. Give me a call. You can email me at forsale@Bella HAUS Realty, and for sale is the number 4, SALE at BELLAHAUS Realty, REALTY.com. But you can look up Daphne Davis, you can look up Bella HAUS Realty, you can check me out on social media at Bella HAUS Realty. These are some other notable trends like build to rent. This sector is expected to see strong growth due to affordability concerns and demographic shifts according to Real Wealth. Alternative housing models like co-living spaces, prefabricated homes, and other innovative models may gain traction to address affordability and supply issues, says Real Wealth. The increasing risk of extreme weather. Let's talk about the weather. We're having floods and fires all across the United States, from the West Coast to the Midwest to the East Coast, from north to south. We're having natural disasters that are destroying homes, that are destroying lives, where people are perishing. So if we can just take a moment of silence and just pray for those individuals that have lost for loved ones, that are still looking for loved ones, and they just need that consoling, they need that comfortability, they need mercy and grace. Let's just touch and believe the healing for those families that are living through these traumas. So thank you for just taking time out for that moment of silence. But the natural disasters are having an impact on home pricing and insurance policies. And speaking of policies, potential policy changes, including tariffs, that's a big deal today. And immigration policies, a very big deal, could affect construction costs, labor supply, and inflation, potentially influencing our housing market. And this is according to LendingTree.com. So in conclusion of our 2025 predictions and key trends, challenges for our home buyers related to affordability and fluctuating mortgage rates, improving inventory levels, and moderating home price growth offer some positive signs. So that's good news. Consulting, and what you want to do is consult with your local real estate professional to help you navigate through this complex and varying market condition across our different regions. Now, I have some questions for you guys, and I didn't want this podcast to be very long, but of course I'm long-winded, and I'm working on that. I really am. So inquiring minds want to know. So here are some questions, guys, and I have the answers to your questions. So are you ready? So, is there a recession coming for 2025 in the housing market? Now, that is a very good question. It's really hard to predict our housing market, but right now I don't foresee a housing trend. There is no forecast for a recession at this particular time. Our market is pretty stable and our prices are appreciating. So that kind of concludes that right now we're not foreseeing a recession. But you may ask, here's another question. Will home prices go down in 25? I answered that earlier. No, builders and sellers are pretty proud of their prices. Prices are, the fair market value. It is what it is. So sellers and builders can always have an ask price, but there's a fair market value. So 9 times out of 10, people are not going to sell below the market value unless they need to relocate, unless, there's some type of urgency. But right now, let's not look forward to the housing market prices to go down. Will my house be worth more in 2025? Again, that's going to depend on the fair market value. Will my house be worth more in 2025? All right, homeowners, I know you're excited about the rising prices. However, good things, they do kind of come to an end. So the growth of 2024 was probably up 4%, but the appreciation in home values are they are going to probably decrease by 2%. So we're not going to see a significant growth, but it's just going to be stable. You'll see appreciation. Most likely, you will not see depreciation for 2025. And you ask, is now a good time to buy? Wow, this question right here. Sometimes in life, we think about, is it a good time to sell? Is it a good time to buy? Should I wait? Should I hold on? But now is a really good time to buy. Based on our appreciating market, based on the increasing mortgage rates, if you want to buy now, I say if you're credit worthy, you have the down payment, you have the income, go for it. You only have one life to live. Don't sit on the fence wondering and worrying, and then when years go by, you're like, oh, I should have bought in this market and that market. Just go ahead, splurge, spend, do what you have to do while you can and while you have the time. That's my advice to you if you want to know if now is a good time to buy. Okay? So here's another question. How low will mortgage rates go this year? Most likely they're not going to go lower than 6%. So get ready. Now you can always buy your rate down with points, and that could be a little costly, but if you got the money, you can buy your rate down to whatever interest rate you like. It's just gonna cost you. So know that you can do that. So know that you'll need more at closing. And oftentimes, like if you do a 20% down, you can probably get a lower rate. If you have good credit, if you use a conventional loan, your rates potentially could be a little lower. But if you are dealing with, an FHA loan and you have average credit, then you may be in that 6 to 7% range, because rates are always based on credit and your debt to income ratio. Sellers, now I'm not going to forget about you. And you also may be wondering, is it a good time for me to sell? Just like I told the buyers, now or never. So your selling may be based on your circumstances. It may be based on your priorities. So whatever your situation is, assess your needs. Make sure that when you sell, if you're going to buy another residence, that you're able to sell your current home so that you can purchase your future home, unless you're able to afford both of the properties. I call it a big ball of shot caller, but in today's society, most of the time, if we want something new, if we want to upsize or downsize or upgrade or downgrade, we got to sell one in order to get the other. So make sure that our finances are in order, make sure that credit is in order, and then make sure that your time frame is in order. And this is our last question. This is a very infamous question that inquiry minds, they want to know. Should I buy or should I rent in 2025? And again, I'm very long-winded, so I'm going to take this from my notes. I'm going to share with you some pros and some cons of buying and renting. So whether you're renting or buying is better depends on your individual circumstances. You know what's best for you. You know what you need. But with both options, they do present unique advantages and disadvantages. So again, you're going to have to weigh out your options. Renting, it offers flexibility and lower initial costs, while buying provides you a long-term investment potential and the stability of home ownership. That's where you're building legacy right there. When you buy a home, when you own a home, you are building legacy, building, something that you can leave to your children's children. You're building equity, you're building wealth. So that's why oftentimes, people get into real estate in order to build their wealth. So when you are renting right now, let's say renting in 2025, here are some pros. You got your low upfront costs, either security deposit or a down payment. And again, depending on your credit, you may have just your security deposit. And then if you are renting a home or whatever, they will likely ask you for your first and your last month's rent. You have greater flexibility for job changes or personal preferences. And okay, I sound like the preacher saying, okay, we're almost done. I'm almost finished. But we really are. So here are the cons in renting. You build no equity. You're subject to rent increases. Every year they want to increase your rate. And, property maintenance. You have no control over that. So here are the pros for buying in 2025. You have potential for long-term appreciation and equity building, tax benefits, mortgage interest deduction, and more control over your property. You can do what you want to do. You cannot do that as a renter. You paint those walls black, you paint those walls green, red, blue, or yellow. You're going to have to paint them back white before you move, or you may lose your deposit or whatever. Okay. Also, these are the cons for, buying a home. You're going to have high upfront costs. So get ready for that big down payment. Now, and closing costs. Now, when it comes to down payment, if you're doing a conventional loan, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have to come out of pocket with 15 to 20%. If you're doing an FHA, you're going to have to come up with, 3.5% down payment. And then when it comes to VA doesn't have a down payment, but VA does have closing costs. You also have closing costs for FHA. So you want to probably look at 7% for closing costs. And then your conventional, you have closing costs. So guys, you have to look at those upfront costs, closing and down payment, unless you get seller concessions or down payment assistance. You do have ongoing expenses. You have your in-home expenses, you have your yard expenses, you have maintenance, you got plumbing, you got electric, you got air conditioner, you got heating, you got floors, you got to think of natural disasters, hurricanes, tornadoes, floods. Those are the type of things, but make sure you just have your homeowner's insurance and your home warranty intact. You have property taxes, property insurance, and you have less flexibility in those areas. Also, guys, these are factors to consider. Financial situation, assess your savings, income, and ability to qualify for a mortgage. Market conditions, consider interest rates, home prices, and rental rates that are specific to that area. Long-term goals, evaluate your plans for job stability, family, and lifestyle. And maintenance needs. Homeownership involves responsibility. You have to do the upkeep of that home. It can't take care of itself. These are the general recommendations that I have for you. Daphne Davis, real estate broker of Bella House Real. Okay, here are my general recommendations. So if you need flexibility and lower initial costs, renting might be your better choice. If you're looking for long-term investment and are prepared for the responsibilities of home ownership, buying could be a good option. And you want to consult with a real estate professional to assess your specific situation and make an informed decision. And I love this question. How are people affording these houses in 2025? Guys, I'm going to break it down for you. If you want to buy a typical home in 2025, your household income needs to be at least $117,000. According to a new study, this is according to a study with Bankrupt. Now, maybe I would say about 4 to 5 years back, a good income of $72,000 to $78,000 could get you a home for $179,000. But today, guys, you're gonna have to hit that six-figure range in order to get that affordability. So that's been a 50% increase in the last 5 years. And all wages have gone up by 27%. So what percentage of your income should go to rent? And the golden rule for that is just like your credit. You shouldn't use your credit cards over 30%, but again, life happens and you might need them. But when it comes to your rent, your income, you should be able to use 30% of your income to afford, the rent that you need. So I'm going to break that down and give you examples. I'm trying to speed this up and talk really fast. So for your annual gross income, if you make $40,000 a year, then you're looking at rent at $1,000 a month. Good luck with that. $50,000 annual gross income, monthly rent $1,250. $60,000 a year, $1,500. $70,000 a year, $1,750. $80,000 a year, $2,000. $90,000 a year, $2,250. $100,000 a year, $2,500. $110,000 a year, $2,750, and $120,000 a year, $3,000. This is the affordability for 30% of your rent or 30% of your mortgage. But keep in mind, when I discuss this for mortgage, that needs to include your principal, interest, tax, and insurance, which is called your PITI. Not just your base, which is your principal and interest, but this amount needs to include your taxes and insurance. Otherwise, then it's rent only. And we're about to bring our show to a close. So this is our June 2025 monthly housing market trends report. The inventory of homes for sale rose 28.9% year over year, marking the 20th consecutive month of inventory growth and the consecutive month with over 1 million active listings. June 2025 inventory hit a new post-pandemic high, but remains 12.9% below pre-pandemic levels. The total number of unsold homes, including those under contract, was up 20% compared to last year. Pending home sales, homes under contract decreased by 1.6% year over year. Newly listed homes declined for a second straight month, but were up 6.2% year over year, and homes spent a median of 53 days on the market. So homes are spending a little time on the market. They're not, when it's a seller's market, you put the property on the market for about a week or two and it's gone. But right now they're kind of sitting because it's a buyer's market and they have a pick of the litter. So five more than a year ago, but about the same level as the pre-pandemic norms for June. This was the median days on market. The national median list price for homes was $440,950, up a modest 0.2% since last year, and remaining in line with 2022 to 2024 levels. Price cuts were reported on 20.7% of listings, and the highest share for any June since at least 2016. These are your June trends, and the 6th consecutive month with growing price reduction. This is going to conclude our show for today. I hope you enjoy Bella House's HAUS Housing Market Trends, the key trends and predictions for 2025. Our year is almost over. I am your trusted real estate broker, Daphne Davis of Bella House Realty. You can reach me on social media, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat at Bella House Realty. House is spelled H-A-U-S. So Bella Beauties, if you're looking to buy, sell, lease, or relocate, you can contact me at 469-759-9289. This is my view at the Omni. Omni Dallas Hotel. Luxury, legacy, and lifestyle.